If you have the right DNA and you love the game and you love to compete, then you're going to be a great fit, with this team, because we're about winning. I mean, this is a winning franchise. We've had constant success of winning and being in the playoffs, and my plan is to return us to that level of consistency, and that takes commitment. That takes players that really are invested in being great players and being a...
Wait until you hear what happens next. The entire Indiana Fever will be turned upside down for the upcoming season. Fever fans, get ready for a whole new dynasty, because Kelly Krauskopf is back and she's not playing around. The team's new general manager dropped a bombshell regarding head coach Stephanie White. Did you think Caitlin Clark was changing things up?
Christy Sides, the head coach of the Fever, she should be fired. Lynn Dunn, the general manager of the Fever, she should be fired. And the water boy, Bobby Boucher, or whoever the water boy, fire them all. They've turned this Caitlin Clark to the WNBA into the Fire Festival 2.0, and there has to be a firing squad for this level of incompetence. Has to happen.
First of all, let's be honest. The Fever had been on fire lately before elimination, but they finally made the playoffs after what seems like 8 years, and it's all because of starlet Caitlin Clark. In her first season, she broke 62 records, led the league in assists and three-pointers, attracted a record number of fans, and epitomizes class and grace off the court. But here's the thing. Although Krauskopf intends to return the title back to Indiana, she is beginning to clean the house because a storm is approaching and will be very strong. Krauskopf's choice regarding teams is just the start. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Are you prepared to move forward?
Although it didn't end the way we wanted it to end, there was a lot of optimism. There was a lot of, enthusiasm around, this is a new beginning, it's a new start. And, I think it's great for our franchise, it's great for our fans, and we're excited to see, who can join us and help us as we continue to move forward and continue to be a great...
Think you genuinely have a job? Let's go back to a time when simply qualifying for the playoffs was sufficient. Fever supporters are furious now, and it all comes down to one person, Stephanie White.
You are an absolute abomination of a head coach. I can't believe you actually have a job.
We're seeing some very questionable decisions on the court, and it's not just fans who are raising their eyebrows. Analysts are also taking in that game against the Las Vegas Aces in the final week of the regular season. Let's take a moment to talk about Stephanie White. Sure, the team made the playoffs, but what about her contributions? We love AB, but with Caitlin Clark, Sid drew up a play for Aaliyah Boston to tie the score and tie 3 Boston, the same Boston team who shoots 26.9% from behind the arc. 3 of the league's best shooters, Lexi Hall and Kelsey Mitchell, are standing there and explain to me why it makes sense, and that this isn't just one terrible decision. Sides has come under fire for her player rotations this season, claiming that she is exhausting her starters, all of whom are logging high minutes. When it comes to game management, a skilled coach will be able to shuffle starters effectively to maintain continuity on the floor, even though Clark plays about 36 minutes every game. When Springs recalls the game against the Sparks on May 28th, the word strategic isn't the first thing that comes to mind. A wise coach would have recognized Los Angeles' 11-game losing skid early on.
Incompetence is why that game ended up that way. She doesn't call a timeout for about a 17-minute span from the 7+ minute mark of the third quarter to about the final minute of the fourth.
However, this is when things become really messy. With all of this attention, you would think that Krauskopf would be looking for a new coach, but the Fever's defense is literally a red carpet for visiting teams. They have one of the league's weakest defenses and are giving up points like it's out of style. She simply came out boasting about her leadership skills and complimenting Sides, but she didn't address Sid's actual teaching abilities. What about that silence? The fans are going crazy watching Caitlin Clark, one of the most exciting players to enter the league in years, and seeing her potential wasted. Clark is posting crazy numbers, but consider what she could achieve with a coach who knows how to use her. Nevertheless, it appears that Krauskopf is planning a major reorganization this winter, and that could be without Sides, even though she has only praised her. When you think about it, it makes sense. Talking down a coach before knowing who is replacing them or letting go of the current one would only put you in a bad position, and Krauskopf is aware of this.
First of all, I just want to start by saying, anytime you're asked to return to a place that you helped build, you had a hand in building, it's special. So I certainly wasn't, thinking of this as an option at the point in my career where I am, but I'll say Mel Raines is a good recruiter. I'm going to have her help me with some free agents. So I'm really grateful to Mel, to Herb Simon, the Simon family, for trusting me to be the steward of the franchise again. I mean, this is a seminal moment in women's sports. It's a big opportunity to be a part of this rising tide that we're all experiencing. I think being a part of the first 18 years and building the franchise from the beginning gave me a lot of insight, institutional knowledge, 6 years on the NBA side, to be ready for this moment, to leverage all that experience, and certainly look at this as a new...
Because the entire squad is having trouble, not just Clark. Keely Mitchell-Aaliyah and Lexi Hull instead of dominating the league, Boston is stuck in a system that prevents them from doing so. #FFiresides is trending every other day, particularly on game days, and calls for reform are flooding fan forums. People are searching for information, examining down-game footage, and doing anything but using skywriters to get their point across. But here's the thing, Kopf is sticking to her guns, at least for the time being. She has a plan for this team that reportedly includes Stephanie White, but how long can she ignore her supporters? How long before the strain becomes unbearable? Or is Krauskopf playing a long-term game here?
You don't know how to use Caitlin Clark's strengths. You don't know how to play to her weaknesses. You don't know how to draw up a simple out-of-bounds play. You don't know how to calm down muddy waters. You don't know how to call a timeout and relax everybody's emotions. You don't know how to talk to the referees. All you know how to do is wave your arms and defensive slide on the sidelines. And Chrissy sides, I'm tired of seeing it every single game.
Krauskopf is holding fast to her positions, at least for the time being. But is this all for show? Or is she merely being businesslike and handling her team's public relations? Behind the scenes, her goal is a championship, and this is what everyone is talking about. There's a wild card in play that could change everything. Let's take a quick look at it. Kopf. Kelly, based on her prior experience in both the WNBA and the NBA, this woman isn't just observing from the sidelines. She has a plan, and it centers on putting together a winning squad around Caitlin Clark. Yes, you read correctly. A championship club, not just a playoff contender that will take home the trophy. She may not be playing with all of her cards at this point, but what is Kopf's first move keeping? Kelsey Mitchell is experiencing a fever. The jersey.
We wouldn't be where we are today without Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, she's clearly a very foundational piece. She's got 7 years of being in and out of this building. She went through a lot as we were preparing to be even better, as a better place to play, a new practice court, a new arena, all the remodels. I mean, Kelsey went through all of that, and she got better. She never put her head down. She kept playing hard and did everything she could. So she's extremely important to the success of the future. We intend to, have lots of conversations and make sure she knows that, but I think she does know that.
Mitchell has been putting up impressive numbers, scoring 19.2 points per game last season. Krauskopf knows that she needs to perfect that skill, but her focus isn't just on offense. Recall how the Fever's defense was essentially a doormat last year? Yes, Krauskopf noticed this too. She is talking about bringing in some serious defensive talent, and let me tell you, when you combine that with Clark's offensive effectiveness, it has the potential to blow the league away.
This is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you, where they're going to have everything they need to be successful. So if you have the right DNA and you love the game and you love to compete, then you're going to be a great fit.
This is a place where players can come to improve and be surrounded by a supportive organization that will provide them with all they need to succeed. So, if you have the right DNA and you enjoy playing the game and competing, you're going to fit right in. But notice this. Koff isn't only considering the upcoming season, she's also considering free agency, the draft, and how to assemble a team that can sprint behind Clark and shoot when she provides those amazing assists. We're talking about a team that will be quick-witted and unbeatable. Now, you might be wondering, what about Sides? Krauskopf is out there praising Sides and talking about her leadership, but she isn't saying anything about Sides. Real coaching is similar to viewing a magician in that you must observe what they don't demonstrate.
We've got to get to a level of toughness. When things are going south on us, we're not stopping the bleeding. We've got to be able to, told them earlier, like that's what's going to help us is when we figure out how to be able to, if somebody keeps punching you, because they just keep punching us. We've got to be able to respond to it. We've got to give some of that back. And that's where we are. We've got to get to another level of mental toughness.
Then there is Stephanie White of Connecticut, who you may recall as the former coach of the Fever. Fans are pleading with Krauskopf to bring her back, and it's not a bad idea. We know that Krauskopf isn't afraid to make big moves, but she's holding this one close to her chest even though White knows the franchise and how to win. She appointed Amber Cox to be general manager in place of Lynn Dunn, which is a big shift considering that Dunn used to be Krauskopf's right-hand woman.
Some movement in the front office is happening at the Indiana Fever. The team announcing a former Dallas Wings executive will now be the general manager.
Who is to say she won't do the same for the coaching position? The real question is how long Clark can withstand the pressure of the fans. The Fever have the highest average attendance in the league, with millions of fans watching at home and nearly 177,000 fans attending home games. That's a lot of voices calling for change, and as Clark gains more attention, the pressure will only get stronger.
CEO, she's all in. Everybody in this company's all in. Everybody in this city's all in. And I think having that experience and gone through those days of, tough roads where everybody in the league has gone through it, and we're all bonded by what the possibilities are at this next level.
Are they really staying with Sides? Or is this all part of a bigger plan? What is Koff's ultimate goal here? Does she see something inside Clark that the most of us miss? Let's face it, everyone is focused on their own side and neglecting the bigger picture. Is she waiting for the right moment to bring in a new coach who can completely fulfill Clark's potential? Koff is known for producing champions, and her quiet speaks a lot about what can happen if the real game-changing player is in the front office rather than on the court.
Christy Sides, why are you making it so your players are the only ones that feel like they need to speak up?
It's not just about wins and losses. We're talking about the team's future here. Koff must decide whether to stick with Sides and risk a fan riot or make a big move for someone like Stephanie White. On the one hand, keeping Sides might indicate steadiness because the team has made progress. They finally ended the playoff drought. But on the other hand, is that enough? What exactly did Sides do to make it happen? Fans are calling for Sid's head, and let's face it, her coaching hasn't been great.
You see Becky Hammond going crazy on the sidelines. You see Becky Hammond yelling and screaming, getting at the refs, getting in their ears, challenging calls, not letting blatant missed calls take place.
But employing a new coach is a very different matter. Although Stephanie White has a winning record and is familiar with the team, new coaches need time to learn new plays and systems, which could hinder Caitlin Clark's development. Can they afford to push the reset button now that Clark is dominating the scoreboard? This is when things became rough. Koff came out to provide compliments and discuss her leadership skills, but she said nothing about Sid's teaching abilities. That would be like your boss telling you that you have a great personality and that you know the but would come.
It's hard to not be impressed. I think the outside noise, what she had to endure as a coach and what they had to endure as a staff to keep that team focused and together. I mean, it takes time. It took a long time for teams that I've had to gel and to get together. I mean, years. It doesn't happen in 4 months. It takes a few years. So I was really impressed with the progress that they made and how, Christy is a resilient leader. She's a culture builder. I know just that she's got that kind of, stamina to stick to it and stick to her plan. And she's a good person and she's a great leader. And I was impressed with the way they finished.
What is Koff's ultimate goal in this situation? Is she really sticking with one team, or is this all part of a bigger plan? Is she waiting for the right moment to hire a new coach who can fully realize Clark's potential? Keep in mind that Krauskopf is not just considering next season. She is also playing the long game, looking at free agency and the draft, and considering how to assemble a team that can sprint with Clark and shoot when she provides those absurd assists. Given that Kopf has a history of making wise strategic choices, what if her seeming support for sides is actually a smokescreen? What if she has her next move planned out and is just waiting for the right moment to strike? She isn't the type to reveal her hand too soon, so while everyone is preoccupied with sides, what if Kopf is working on something bigger in the background? Maybe she is negotiating with a well-known coach who isn't yet available, or she is preparing a move that would completely change the dynamic between the team and Kopf. Where does this leave Fever Kopf? Fans are upset about sides, and everyone is wondering what will happen next. Will Kopf actually stick with sides, or will she play 4D chess while the rest of us are stuck playing checkers? She is concentrating on building a winning squad around Caitlin Clark in the long run, but with Stephanie White suddenly available, the pressure is mounting. How long before anything gives? Whatever Kopf decides, it will surely have an impact on Clark's career. We're talking about a player who has the ability to change the league. If the wrong move was made, growth was stunted. Is it the right one? We might be seeing the next WNBA dynasty. If Stephanie White leaves, who should the Fever hire? Please let us know in the comments, like, and subscribe so you don't miss anything.